It was supposed to be an ordinary Sunday afternoon in a quiet town on the outskirts of Nashville. The streets shimmered with the golden hue of the setting sun, families strolled with ice creams in hand, and the sound of engines echoed faintly in the distance. But then, a sudden screech, a sickening crash and silence. A biker lay motionless by the roadside, his motorcycle twisted like a wounded animal. Cars slowed down, drivers craned their necks, and one by one they drove off. No one stopped. Except for one teenage boy, 17-year-old Ethan Carter, who threw his bike to the curb, sprinted across traffic, and changed 2 lives forever. If stories of courage, kindness, and humanity move your heart, make sure you like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where true stories remind us that compassion still lives among us. Ethan had just finished his basketball practice and was on his way home, sweat clinging to his forehead, his backpack slung over one shoulder when he heard the crash. The sound was sharp, metallic, the kind that sends shivers down your spine. He turned to see a man lying near the intersection, his motorcycle sprawled beside him, its chrome frame glinting in the sunlight. Cars honked, people stared, but no one stopped. Ethan froze for a moment, his mind racing between fear and instinct. Then something inside him, maybe his late father's voice, maybe his conscience, screamed go. He dropped his bike and dashed toward the fallen man. The biker, in his late 40s, was unconscious, blood trickling from a cut near his temple. His leather jacket bore the faded insignia of a biker club, Steel Reapers. Ethan's hands trembled as he checked for a pulse. It was there, faint but alive. "Hey, somebody call an ambulance," he yelled, but traffic kept moving, indifferent. No one even rolled down a window. Ethan fumbled for his phone, dialed 911, and stayed by the man's side, pressing his jacket against the wound to stop the bleeding. Minutes felt like hours until the paramedics arrived. They loaded the biker into the ambulance, and just before the doors closed, one of the medics turned to Ethan and said, "If you hadn't stopped, kid, he might not have made it." The ambulance roared off, leaving Ethan standing alone on the side of the road, his hands shaking, his jeans stained with another man's blood, and his heart pounding with something he didn't quite understand yet. For the next 2 days, life went on as usual, or so it seemed. Ethan went to school, helped his mom at the diner, and tried to forget the haunting image of that biker lying helpless on the road. But part of him couldn't shake it off. He wondered if the man survived. He even called the hospital once, but wasn't allowed to get information since he wasn't family. Meanwhile, word of the young boy's bravery began to spread quietly around town. A witness had recorded a short clip, Ethan kneeling beside the biker, pressing his jacket against the wound, calling for help, and posted it on social media with the caption, "Everyone drove by except this kid." Within 24 hours, it went viral. Ethan didn't know about the video until his best friend Lily showed him. "You're all over the internet," she said, scrolling through her phone. "People are calling you a hero." Ethan blushed, shaking his head. "I'm no hero, I just did what anyone should have done." But the truth was, not everyone would have. 3 days after the accident, a deep rumble shook the quiet streets of Ethan's neighborhood. It began faintly, like a distant storm, and grew louder, stronger, heavier. The sound of hundreds of engines thundering together. Ethan was fixing his old bicycle in the driveway when his mother stepped out, squinting toward the road. "What on earth is that?" Then they saw it. A convoy of motorcycles stretching as far as the eye could see, black, chrome, and steel gleaming under the afternoon sun. At the front rode a large man with a gray beard and dark sunglasses, the same insignia on his jacket that Ethan had seen that day, Steel Reapers. They stopped right in front of Ethan's house. Neighbors peeked from windows, kids ran out to watch, and Ethan froze in disbelief. The gray-bearded man got off his bike, walked up to Ethan, and extended a hand. His grip was firm, his voice deep but trembling with emotion. "You must be Ethan Carter," he said. "Name, Roy Bear Dalton. The man you saved, that was my brother, Mitch. He's alive thanks to you." Ethan blinked, speechless. Roy continued, "We came to say thank you the only way we know how. One by one, the bikers, nearly 250 of them, lined up, each taking off their helmets and nodding respectfully at the teenager. Some clapped him on the shoulder, others said, "You've got heart, kid," or "World needs more like you." The rumble of engines had turned into a wave of gratitude, loud, powerful, and overwhelming. Then Roy turned to his crew and shouted, "Boys, let's show him what family looks like." They brought out a brand new mountain bike, custom painted with the Steel Reaper's logo and Ethan's name airbrushed in silver across the frame. "You saved one of ours," Roy said. "Now we want to look after you. This is just a small thank you for doing what most folks wouldn't." Ethan's eyes welled up. I don't know what to say." Roy smiled. "You already said it, kid, when you stopped." Over the next few weeks, Ethan visited Mitch at the hospital. The one-stuff biker, now recovering with bandages and a cracked rib, became a sort of mentor. They'd talk for hours about life, loss, mistakes, and second chances. Ethan learned that Mitch had lost his own son in a car crash years ago and had since drifted away from people. "I thought the world didn't care anymore," Mitch admitted one day, his eyes moist. "Then you proved me wrong. You reminded me there's still good out there." Ethan smiled. "Guess we both needed that reminder." When Mitch was discharged, the Steel Reapers invited Ethan and his mother to a charity ride they were organizing, raising funds for victims of road accidents. What started as one act of kindness had sparked a movement. Local news covered the story, calling it the Kindness Ride. And Ethan, standing among hundreds of roaring engines, felt something he'd never felt before: belonging. If this story touched your heart and reminded you of the power of compassion, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where every story reminds us that one small act can change hundreds of lives. 3 months later, Ethan received a leather jacket in the mail. On the back, in silver stitching, were the words "Honorary Reaper for a Heart of Gold." Inside the pocket was a handwritten note from Mitch. "When the world looked away, you didn't. You saved more than my life that day. You saved my faith in humanity." Ethan held the jacket to his chest, tears blurring his vision. He realized then that kindness doesn't need witnesses or applause. It just needs someone willing to stop, to care, to act, even when everyone else drives by. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the distant hum of motorcycles echoed through the air once again. A sound that no longer meant noise, but brotherhood, gratitude, and the unbreakable bond between strangers who chose kindness over indifference.